So guys, I'm making this very short video to show you the difference between the VAR statement and the LET statement in JavaScript. It's been a very big bone of contention, and this has been a huge problem for young developers who are not used to the language, and this could mess you up in interviews. So quickly, I have a folder that has a HTML document, and that's where you see this comment that you see on your browser. And I also have a JavaScript file that is linked to that HTML document, and this is the JavaScript file. So in here now we can write our simple JavaScript. So I'll quickly just go console.log something. Simple sentence, just something that I want to log to my console. So if I right click right now and inspect, if I refresh that page and go to my console, okay, let me refresh. You see iloveourresume.com pop up in my console, the same thing that I have actually tried to log using my JavaScript file. So let's see the difference between let and the VAR statement. So I will create a function here, and I will call it test var. I could just call it tests, right? And in there, I will just put in a for loop, and I will use let first of all. Let I equals 0, I less than 5. So we'll just run the loop 5 times, right? And then I plus plus. And in there, I just want to console the value of I. Let me log the value of I. So if we save this, if we return to our browser quickly, you'll see that, okay, so I can't log that. Oh yes, you know why? Because I've not called the function. So let's call the function. Save that, go back to the browser and then log it, and you see that I log 0 to 4, which is the 5 steps that I've taken. So with let, you are able to access the value that you've created, the variable that you've created, right? Now, what happens if we come outside that loop, that for loop, and also try to log I? So console.log I, save that, go back to my browser and refresh. You see that I have this reference error telling me that I is not defined. And if you program in, let's say, Python and Java, you always expect that this should be the case, right? You don't, because this I, the variable I here, is scoped to this block, right? So any other access to this variable I is not possible outside this block. This is normal in every programming language that I know, except JavaScript. So if you change this right now to var, right, and save this, and then rerun that line of code, you see what happened to the error that we just had, right? You see in here that on line 7, right, in that index.js file, I'm able to log the value of 5, right? Which shouldn't be, because I shouldn't be able to access the value of I. This was a fundamental issue, and it still is a fundamental issue with JavaScript, the VAR statement, because VARs are not scoped to a particular block of code. They are rather scoped to a function. So what I mean by a function is that as long as this variable var, this variable I, which is a var, is within this function, you can access it from anywhere within this function. This could be great if you think at it looking at one perspective, but by the time you're writing a very, very huge function, right, this could mess things up. So because of that, since ES6 and what is also popularly called ES 2015, JavaScript introduced let and constant. const, right? So that just like in the practice with every other programming language, you can have variables that are scoped within a block. So the first thing that you want to take away from here is that let is scoped within a block of code, right? And when I mean a block, opening and closing braces. You could also, I know for our professional developers, I know you can take that away, and this is just one line of code, but at least if you understand that you could take that away, you also understand what a block of code is. So for a block of code, let is scoped just within a block of code, but variables, vars, are scoped within a function in your code. Now, the function could also be classes. So if this was to be a JavaScript class and you use variable at the class level, it will be scoped to that particular class. So just have that in mind. Another problem with this is, so let me comment all of this out. Another thing is with var, a big problem with var is when you talk about the Windows object. So JavaScript is very popular with the Windows object. So if I say let name here equals testing, and then I will use var for, let's say, what do I call that variable? Let's say tests. Tests, and I will say here or resume.com. Save that, right? If you come to the Windows object, if I go to my browser, refresh, let me refresh, please, and then go to my Windows object, window, and let me try to access this variable that I created, name. Or let me access test, first of all. Okay, you see? You have your Windows, you see that the variable has been attached to the Windows object. If I come in here to use name, did I say names or name? You see that there's nothing there, it's empty, right? So with variables, you will notice that when you declare a variable using var, it is also attached to the Windows object. Now, this could result to a very big problem if you're building an application and then you need to bring in other modules. Now, if you bring in other libraries or other modules and then you already created a variable called tests, if within that particular module that you brought into your project, there is another variable called tests, then obviously you should know that you have a little conflict and it could affect the operation of your application. So this is a very short one just to show you that you shouldn't really be using var in declaring variables. Rather, you use let when you're working in JavaScript, and the benefits of using let rather than JavaScript, how good it is on your code and how safe it is also. For more of things like this, you could visit resume.com, where we have a lot of amazing courses that you could learn from. I personally have a couple of courses on software development. We have courses in graphic design, in business, where you could learn SQL, Power BI, a lot of stuff. So visit resume.com for more educational content like this. Thank you.